Hi, everybody. Our microphones are muted. They are no longer muted. Hi, everybody. It's time for another episode of Grant Draws. Tonight on the show, we have the Todd Black.
Hello.
Yeah, so I already put the link for your Kickstarter in the chat. We are going to go over League of Cryptids first.
Go ahead.
But give me a second to share my screen. I don't know why I'm so bad at this part of the job.
It happens.
Okay, so we have League of Cryptids. I did send out a newsletter earlier in the day saying that if we get funded by the end of the week, I will include an extra pinup in the finished comic books. But for those of you who don't know already, I'm sure anybody watching my show has heard this spiel already. But it's basically the 5 most popular cryptids: Sasquatch, the Loch Ness Monster, Mothman, Jersey Devil, and Chupacabra. The idea is that they're ancient aliens who were put here to help protect Earth and help humanity develop. And in this particular story, the Loveland Frogmen have invaded Earth, and they have to defeat them to make sure that humanity doesn't get overrun by aliens. But this is a fun little comic book. There's no big moral or philosophical message. It's basically just cryptids beating each other up.
Nothing wrong with a simple tale of cryptids.
Exactly. But here's one of the covers. There's the Jersey Devil getting attacked by the Loveland Frogmen. Here's Sasquatch yelling at Yeti. And here's Yeti kind of in the background with all the different League of Cryptids here in the foreground. So since I've already talked a lot about League of Cryptids, I think we will just move on to your comic book, which will just take me a second.
That's fine.
To share.
But yeah, you're almost to your funding goal, and that's what's important.
Yeah, I know. I keep. It keeps getting closer and closer and closer, and then people will back out, and yeah, it's been it's been heart attack inducing, to be perfectly honest with you.
I'll be that way with mine as we get closer to our goal, so trust me.
Hey, Dan Hollifield is in the chat. If there's anybody else who's kind of just lurking, feel free to come and say hi.
Lurking.
You don't have to say anything deep or philosophical if you don't want to. You can just say hi. But Dan is a cool guy. He is also a novelist.
Oh.
He's actually, I think he's pretty interested in science, so he might like your comic, or your Kickstarter for your comic book.
So shall I explain what Secrets of Science is now?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have it up on the screen, right? Yeah.
All right. So Secrets of Science is a STEM education comic that is written by me, but stars 2 real friends of mine, Dr. Tracy Finara and Tamara Robertson. And in each issue or volume, we solve real-world problems with real-world science. So far, in our 7 issues we've made, we've talked about oil spills. We talked about a tree death epidemic that happens in Hawaii. We talked about VR. We've talked about aquaponics. We talked about like an actual think tank coming together to try and prevent an asteroid from destroying the Earth. Fun. And in our current arc, we have a 2-part hurricane issue, talking about preparing for hurricanes and analyzing them and then recovering from them. And that's what this one is about, or this particular Kickstarter is about, is funding issue number 8 so we can wrap up volume 2 and then get started on volume 3. Each issue is 20 pages of the story, and then we have DIY experiment, we have interviews with experts, we have shout outs to the community and other members who help make this issue, because we work with a lot of experts and citizen scientists, as we call them, who help make this even more legitimate and realistic. And it's a really fun time. It's been an honor working with Tamara and Tracy on this, and we're hoping to get this into as many people's hands as possible.
Yay, sounds awesome. So
Thanks.
So what did we've got a lot of people talking in the chat now. Don Dulles. I believe that's how you pronounce your name. I hope that's how you pronounce your name, right, Don? Very nice young woman saying these people talk, not me. And then Joey, I think, is trying to say hi all.
Yeah, hey Joey. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So she's saying long U. So I'm assuming that means Don Dulles.
Dulles.
So anyway, so where did you get your passion for science?
Well, I'll admit I was never the biggest science nerd. I mean, sci-fi, like that was always my big thing. You know, Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5, that kind of thing. But I really grew to love science through the popular series Mythbusters, which always showed science and engineering and mathematics and all of that. And then when Adam and Jamie retired from the show, they did Mythbusters: The Search, which is basically a reality show to get new hosts for the series. And that's where I saw Tamara and Tracy. And they had such a love and passion for it. And that continued online via Twitter. They had all the contestants online trying to hype up the show. And so one day I saw them talking about how they would love to still work together post-show. And I'm like, I can make a comic with you too. Would you like to do that? And they're like, yeah, let's do that. Why can't anything be that easy? I mean, come on.
Oh, okay. So the main characters of your book are
real
women who are on this TV show.
Yeah, they've been on numerous TV shows. Tamara's hosted multiple ones. Tracy's a frequent on Weather Channel as an expert, and she's done other shows with like What on Earth or Wild Earth and various other ones. Tamara's gonna be on a new version of Modern Marvels soon, so like they've done numerous shows to highlight the wonders of science all over the place, and now we're just focusing that into a comic book to try and inspire the next generation and people who love science, to show that, you know, science is everywhere and it's highlighted in ways you don't even think about. Like this page right here is a great example. Scroll back up. That one. Yeah, those are actual drones made by a friend of Tamara's named Joel. And he created these so that they could be dropped from a plane and using GPS land exactly where they need to without having to land the plane themselves. So that enables them to drop supplies into hurricane-affected areas without having to, you know, finding a landing pad and ensuring the weather is good. No, they can just drop it from the plane and guide it down through GPS. I'm like, that's a brilliant idea. It's so simple, but you wouldn't think it's there until you see it in action, and it works. And he's done that for various hurricane relief efforts. So we get to show that in our comic book. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, awesome. So now, were you a comic book fan before you started making this comic book, or was the idea okay?
Well, I mean, this isn't my first series. Like this was I've been my fifth. Yeah, pretty close. So like I didn't grow up on comic books, but I grew up on comic book properties. So like the classic 90s animated series, Batman, Superman, and Justice League, and X-Men, Spider-Man, all that. And then all the live action movies that came out in the 90s and 2000s. But I didn't start reading comic books until I was 18 and realized that there was actually the comic book store not too far from me. Oh, well. Then I started getting into Marvel and DC and some of the other brands like Boom and Image and such. And then one day I was just like, I feel I could do this myself. So after having an interaction with a certain famous Marvel writer and finally being able to get the money to pay for a comic book. You need money to make comic books. Who knew? Yeah. I started my journey, and it started with one series and I just jumped from one to another. And then SOS was a happy accident. As I said, I just reached out to Tamara and Tracy on Twitter and was like, "Hey, can I make a comic book with you all?" And they said yes. And years later, we're working on issue number 8, and we're hoping to keep this going because we really think this is a valuable education tool that can be used in schools, libraries, and more. Yeah, and as you can see, we've actually donated over 1 million digital copies and certain physical copies to various institutions. We've worked with colleges like SCU, Santa Clara University. NC State was the partner for us with issue 4 with our VR issue. And we're hoping to work with more institutions going forward because science and technology and engineering and mathematics deserves to be showcased and highlighted so that their wonders can be understood in a way that isn't science jargon. And that's my job, is to take all the tech briefs I get and all the breakdowns of the sciences and like, how can I explain this so that a person with reasonable understanding can enjoy it? Because
that's one of the beautiful things about comic books is that it actually is a good medium for explaining things because it uses both words and visuals. So
exactly. Yeah. So going back to that page we talked about before, I could just tell you the drones are there, or I could show you the drones landing from the sky and going exactly where Tamara is, and then explaining those SOS facts as those captions at the bottom, saying like, yeah, this is a real technology that Joel made, and it uses this kind of thing, and this is why it's so important for hurricane relief. Simple, visual, effective, but you're learning things while you're seeing a cool story unfold.
Right. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit further on the page, see what I'll... Oh, okay. So you've translated it into other languages?
Yes. Tamara and Tracy were very impassioned to make sure our book is bilingual. So we have English versions and Spanish versions, and we have a flip book where it'll be English on one side, then you could flip it 180, and all of a sudden you're reading the Spanish version. So that way, anyone who has who knows either language can enjoy it.
So both versions are in the same comic book?
If you want, those are the flip books, but you can get exclusively English or exclusively Spanish, or you can get them merged together.
I see. So so you can get just Spanish, you can get just English, or you can get both in the flip book.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Tamara really likes the flip books. So,
cool.
Yeah. And then this is our rewards. As you're seeing, we offer all sorts of rewards. You can get all 8 issues should you be new to the series, which I know a lot of people will be. You can get them in single issues or in our volumes, which I happen to have right here. This is volume 1. And you can get it physically. You can get it digitally. You can get them in flip books. We will have all 8 flip books available in one of our later rewards. You can get a thank you messaging in our interior front cover, a nice page of all the backers who pledged a certain amount. You can get postcards signed by Tamara and Tracy. You can get virtual thank yous, like we'll make a video message specifically for you, the backer. You can get drawn into the comic, and you'll be able to, cool. We have later pages where Tamara and Tracy are working on the hurricane cleanup, and you will be literally drawn next to them, showing that you are helping these towns recover from the hurricane. And for those who have friends who are teachers or librarians, we have special rewards where you can get numerous copies of the book, so you can stock them up and give them to teach to schools or libraries so that multiple people can read it. We have SOS merchandise like hats and shirts and patches and stickers. So we did our best to offer a lot here, and we hope that this will bring more people into checking it out.
Cool.
Thank you.
Oh, so and I see here you also have a lot of different merch.
Yeah. Yeah, one of Tamara's friends has access to a merch printing place or whatever, so we were able to get a good deal, which is great because you want to keep costs low on Kickstarter.
Okay, so the idea is you're going to get a cameo.
Yeah.
In the next issue.
No, this issue.
Oh, this issue. Okay.
Oh, that does say issue 9. I apologize. That's meant to say issue 8. She was we were rushing to get some of these done. I apologize. But yes, you'll be drawn to this issue number 8. Yeah. And then this is the outreach pack I was talking about, where you'll get multiple copies of SOS, so you can have multiple students or young people or whoever read it all at once.
Oh wow! And then you have a Q&A.
Yes.
With
Tamara or Tracy.
Tamara or Tracy. Okay, they're braver than I would be.
Well, they've offered this before for certain Comic-Cons that they've supported, but this is a perfect chance for a teacher or a librarian to say, like, hey, these are people working in the various fields of science, and they want to talk with you. So we only have 2 available right now. If we sell out, we'll probably add more. But you'll have a virtual QA session where you can have them talk with students or talk with science groups or whoever, so that they know that, yeah, they care about you liking science, and they want to help you, and they want to encourage you, and they want to say, hey, these fields are available if you're interested. So it's a really cool thing. So
the idea is you bring the computer into the classroom, or let's be honest, nowadays you don't even have to bring the computer into the classroom.
You can do it however you want. It can be a computer, it can be a projector. I mean, I probably would do like a projector kind of thing, honestly, or like a share screen, like we're doing now. Just stick it over there, and all of a sudden, like they can see all of them. So, but yeah, they really like that reward too. So we're hoping someone takes it on. And then, as you're teasing right there, we have the secret tier. This will only unlock once the Kickstarter is funded, but let's just say that if we do get funded and you do pledge to this reward tier, you will have a direct hand at influencing what happens next for SOS.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Nice. Yeah, so these are the add-ons. Those are the thank you videos. Those are our signed postcards. The classroom pack, which is a version of our outreach one. And then some of the merch you can get individually if you don't want to get them all together.
Yeah, so you guys have a lot of stuff.
We're trying to appeal to everybody. And that's Tamara. She's amazing. Yeah, she's very
Tamara, and you have Tracy.
Yeah, Tracy's also amazing. And she is emphatically a doctor. Let no one tell you otherwise. And that's me with my Eevee. Don't I look adorable?
Of course. Now, did they help you with the writing of the book?
Yes.
Okay. So,
well, let me do it this way. So, like I said, when let's take issue number 8 for example. I got a tech brief from each issue is headed up by either Tamara or Tracy. We alternate, and Tamara took point on this one. She gave me a tech brief because she's done numerous hurricane relief efforts, including one in Puerto Rico. So she's like, okay, here's our experts. Here's what we need to talk about. Here's what we should do, certain points to make and whatnot. And then I take all of that and try and break it down into meaningful story beats. So for this one, issue number 8, I actually did something incredibly different where I had mini stories in each one to help show the progression of how a city or certain areas would recover from a hurricane. So like one is assessing the damage. The next is taking the step to rebuild and to help. And then slowly getting things like electricity and stores back up and running, because you think it's all just, we just need to get back on our feet. That's much more complicated than you realize. And that's where all these experts come in, where we have like the drone person. We also have a seed expert, like literal plant seeds, who comes in to try and help restore areas, because with hurricanes, fields get destroyed and you need to start from scratch. So I would break that down. Then I write the script. I send it to Tamara and Tracy. And then they oftentimes correct me if I misinterpret the science, which happened a lot with this issue because there were so many pieces of technology that I need to understand. And then sometimes they just go, Todd, I don't sound like that. Don't you know? If I'm writing it, don't you know? No, they're very good about saying, like, we should change this. This should be more informative. We could put this as an SOS fact. So it's a very collaborative experience.
So have you ever gotten into an argument about anything, or are you pretty differential?
Well, I wouldn't say argument. I'd say that I've had to fight for certain things because I feel like they were important to the story. 8 was a good example where we needed. There was a change that wanted to happen. I'm like, okay, we can change it, but I do want to keep this because I think it's important to the story. And we would just talk it out, and we would come to a nice compromise. We had, I mentioned the seed thing earlier. I had that being a bigger part of the comic originally because I felt that was a key element, because it was something very visual. It was, we could see the fields being tended to, the crops growing, and then Tamara correctly noted, like, I get why you're doing that, but there's other things we could focus on that are just as important and would be just as visual within a shorter amount of pages. I'm like, fair enough. So we talked it out and I rewrote it, and eventually we got to where we needed to go. We trust each other, and they know that I wouldn't write anything that I didn't think was necessary. But sometimes I don't understand everything because I'm not them. I'm not a established doctor or engineer or years of experience in doing these things. The closest thing I've come to a hurricane is fleeing from one when I was like 10 because we just missed one on the way home from Disney World. Hurricane Irene, I'll never forget that. But like we trust each other to get things done. Now, is it frustrating sometimes when things don't go our way? Well, yeah, but that's just how comics work. That's how any collaborative project works, because you want to get things done, and then sometimes you have delays. Sometimes you need to do a bunch of things because certain experts aren't on board, or you don't have certain things done. It was a stressful thing getting the Kickstarter together because we honestly had to throw it all together in a short amount of time. But we worked together, we talked as often as we could, and we got it done. And as you saw earlier, we're up to $2,000 already, and that's amazing. And I'm really hoping we'll get to 3,000 soon, which is our goal for the Kickstarter, and then see how far we can take this.
Yeah, it sounds like it's it's a really awesome project.
Yeah.
It's exciting that you're making comic books about something that you're passionate about, which,
Yeah.
To me, that's what makes for good comics.
That's a fact. I do not make something that I do not have a passion about in one form or another. And Tamar and Tracy are just as passionate about this. That's why we try to do our best with each issue, touch on so many pieces of science, bring in the real world experts, have the fun DIY experiments, because we want to radiate the passion we have for this right off the page. And we've had good results so far. And we're going Kickstarter just because we want to further expand our reach and help us fund more issues to come, hopefully.
So I'm assuming this is the artist here.
Yes, that's Alex. He's been our full-time artist since SOS #1. He does the interiors, he does the covers, and he does the lettering. He's an all-in-one comic making machine.
The coloring as well.
Oh yeah. Alex has been with me since my very first comic, and when I did SOS, he was my first call. I said, "Hey, you want to make this with me?"
That's a lot of work.
It is, but he's willing to do it, and he puts out good work, as you saw on the preview pages. So
yeah, I'm just saying, he's a very busy guy.
Yeah, I try to keep him busy. I do my best.
Yeah, so this is cool. So, are there schools that have incorporated your book into like their classes?
I think there's been like one or two. We mainly do like science camps. We offer them as special rewards for being at the camp. Santa Clara University is a great example of that. They were the ones who worked with us on issue #5, which is our aquaponics issue. And they supplied the experts. And then once we got done with the comic, one of their associates named Ricky, who's been a great godsend on this book, he held a science camp there. And so we bought a bunch of issues. We sold them a bunch of issues, and they used it as part of their curriculum for that science camp. And then we actually were part of a yacht club thing, like a student yacht club. And they wanted the books because they were talking, our first issue was about oil spills. So we try to reach out to whoever we can, wherever we can, and just see what happens.
Yeah. So is this going to be your main comic book title, or do you have?
Oh, I have multiple going on. Okay. Yeah, I just got one of the reasons I was this was a little rushed together was because we didn't expect it to go live at the end of March. I had just come off of a Kickstarter for one of my main series, Tokyo Blade Detectives, my anime book. And I was like, okay, I'm done with Kickstarter for the year. And then Tamara was like, no, we kind of need to do Secrets of Science now. I'm like, that wasn't the plan. But hey, life happens. So we adapted and we're doing well so far.
That's good because I mean that means that they're enjoying doing it, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And we this is something special for us because to our knowledge, no one's really doing it like this. Like there might be books that have a science focus of sorts, or even mainly just going into sci-fi. But this one is truly trying to connect with readers to show that science can be easy to understand just by picking up the book, and then you have DIY experiments in the back that you can do to say, hey, I understand what's happening here, and I want to see what else is out there. So that's the other reason we want to keep going, is because we have other stories we want to tell. And we hope you watching this and those who find it by other means will give us a chance, because we really think this book is special.
So we've talked about your passion for science and where that came from. Do you want to address where your passion for comic books came from?
Well, like I said, I grew up on the 90s animated series, and then the live action movies that came out afterward. And between that and the anime and other cartoons I grew up watching, I just started creating stories in my head. And that led me to think, like, what would be my story if I got to create it? And my first series was a superhero comic called Guardians, because that's what I grew up on. I grew up on superheroes. And
Yeah.
I did that for 20 issues. And then after a while, I was like, I have other stories that I want to tell. And that led to a sci-fi fantasy miniseries, which led to a Disney Pixar style graphic novel, eventually SOS, and so on and so forth.
20 issues. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tokyo Blade Detectives, one of my later series, that's just got done with issue number 12, with the Kickstarter I was mentioning earlier. And Secrets of Science is on 8. So I'm just trying to make as many stories as I can, because I have a lot of ideas I want to tell.
Now, I mean, are you gonna go back to doing any of these stories, or do you think that they are they done for now?
Some of them are done, like 10,000 Miles, my heist graphic novel, Take the House. Some were intentionally one-shots. Others, like Guardians, I could come back to. I just have other things I want to tell first. Tokyo, I'm going to take as long as possible. Same with Secrets of Science, because there are so many fields of science we want to showcase, and we think that there's a lot of room to grow and have fun, and again, just showcase the wonders of STEM, because it's something that, especially right now, is very important to highlight, because science and technology and engineering and mathematics are important. And we want to show that anyone, no matter where you come from or what you love, you can do science and you can be in these fields and you can change the world.
I just noticed that you have a Shazam shirt on.
Yes, he's my favorite superhero.
He's up there for me.
There you go.
He's maybe not my favorite, but he's at least top 2 or 3.
I would love to write a Shazam series one day. One of my many dream jobs that I have.
You know what? I used to want to write a Shazam comic book, but I think Jeff Johns kind of did the perfect one.
Not perfect, but it was I did enjoy the new 52 version very, very much. There were some things I would change, but that's any comic book fan. So, there was a more recent one that I didn't enjoy as much, but oh well. But he's still around there. He just had an appearance in Absolute Superman. I know it's technically a different one. I won't spoil things for people, but I'm curious where that one's going to go. But he always appealed to me, and I think there's a lot of stories still left to tell with him too.
Yeah, so I guess that was kind of what I was the point I was trying to get to. Are there characters other than Shazam? Are there characters, creators, storylines that really spoke to you as a young person?
Well, I'm inspired by all sorts of things. I'm inspired by cartoons. I'm inspired by TV shows and movies. I've been inspired by video games. Tokyo Blade Detectives came to mind because of a Facebook meme, no joke. And I appreciate that, because I don't mind taking inspiration from like certain, like say like Marvel or DC series, but I don't say like, oh, I want to be like Jimmy Palmiotti, who's a friend of mine. He's an amazing creator, or Gail Simone. She's crushing it on X-Men right now. I don't say like, oh, I want to be like them, because they have a different writing style. They have different experiences which fuel their writings and the kinds of stories they want to tell. I am in awe of them, but I always want to say, like, what would my take on this story be? Like, how could I change this and make this kind of a story? So I take their inspirations and then take the inspiration, and then I go, okay, how would I do it? Like, what's my take on this I think is really special? And sometimes it clicks. Sometimes I have to wait a bit. Sometimes the money's not there to make the comic. But we just take it one step at a time, and then things get made.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I'm impressed that you've put out so many comic books at this point.
Thank you.
Like you said, there's so many obstacles in your way, right?
Yeah,
Not just your way, but I mean all comic book
yeah.
creators.
No, it's always a challenge. I'll give you a great example with the SOS Kickstarter. Like, you look at the backer totals and you think like, oh, you've only got 24 backers. We've been on for a week. My last campaign, I had double that in the first day. But the difference is that one was an anime comic that I had put on Kickstarter for 11 straight issues, and the other was a science education comic, which is just making its debut on Kickstarter and has been distributed in different ways that the fan base might not realize. Oh, we're on Kickstarter now. So the trick is not trick, but the job is to bring them to Kickstarter. Say like, hey, if you liked it before, check it out now and see if you want to keep supporting us. So, but Kickstarter has been great to me. I wouldn't have half the books I've made without Kickstarter, and that's just the truth. So, and then marketing is always a challenge. You know that, Grant, and trying to work the algorithms on Facebook and Twitter and Blue Sky and Instagram and trying to get people to see your posts. It's always a challenge, but we just take it one step at a time, one day at a time, one comic at a time, and hopefully we make something we're proud of at the end.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, I had a little bit of a rough day today.
Mm-hmm.
I had a couple bigger backers cancel,
and that's been happening to a lot of friends of mine. I'm in a different. Me and Grant met via Facebook comic group, and I'm in another comic group, and I've seen a lot of them saying like, I just lost a big backer, like they pledged and then they canceled within like a few hours. I hate that. The very first backer, no, 2 of the first 4 backers of SOS were bots, and they canceled. They were the first pledger, and then and the fourth pledger, and then they canceled within like 3 hours of the campaign going live. So it's just like, why are you being so mean? Like, what is the point of this?
Yeah, is there any rationale for it other than just
being mean?
We like screwing with people.
Like, and that's the thing, and that hurt the most because Tamara messaged me a few hours into the campaign. She goes, "Oh, we already got this many backers, and we're at this amount of money, which is great." And then she sent me a screenshot of the backers from the dashboard, and she goes, "Yeah, we got scammed. I'm glad you warned me about that," and I did, because this was her first Kickstarter. But to see like the very first backer was a scam bot, I was like, really? Have you no shame? So, but yeah, it's been hitting a lot of people hard recently, and I'm hoping that the backers of SOS won't back out, and that that more scammers don't come in, because we want to hit our goal and beyond, and just see how far we can take this. So, go away, bots.
Dan Hollifield is saying Todd got into comics the same way I got into writing prose sci-fi stories.
Yeah, and I write one myself. I have a sci-fi novel series called As We Wanted the Stars. It's my tribute to Star Trek, Star Wars, Babylon 5, and it's my way of honoring those amazing shows that affected how I view a sci-fi story. So good on you, Dan. Glad you're writing your stories that you want to write.
So Todd, we do have other guests on for the show. This has been a really great conversation, but I think it's time. Do you want to mention, beyond the Kickstarter, obviously, is there anything else you want to promote? Maybe the YouTube channel or...
I am on YouTube, but you can usually find me on social media at Guardians_comic on Twitter, on Instagram. I'm on Blue Sky. Just look up Todd Black, look for the hair. And Secrets of Science will be on Kickstarter until April 30th. Please check it out. Give it some support. If you know people who might like it, please share it with them. Every little bit helps.
Thank you so much, Todd.
My pleasure. Thank you, Grant. And good luck with your Kickstarter and get to your goal.
Thank you so much, and have a great night.
You too. Later.
Okay. Oops.
Hello.
Moving on to our next victims. I mean guests. Alex and Aaron.
Hi, Grant. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great. I am gonna show the Kickstarter. Sorry, I'm not real great at this part of the job. Sticks and Stones.
I'm waving at you, Alex, not the kid. This is
Oh,
for you.
got it.
Yeah. This is for the kid. This one's for you.
Very sweet wave for me. I appreciate it.
All right, guys. So first of all, are you guys both writers? Is one of you an artist? How does that work?
Oh, we're both writers. On this, I'm the writer, and Alex is the artist. So that's where we're at for this one, and we're co-creators of the series.
Cool. So as you can see, you are in pre-launch. How much more time do you have in pre-launch?
Hours.
Not much.
We're going live this week.
Yeah.
Going live later this week?
We're going live this week.
Yeah.
Okay. So the name of the comic book is Sticks and Stones, a holiday special. Now, when you say holiday special, do you mean one holiday in particular, or just a number of different holidays?
Grant, we mean 3 holidays in particular, as a matter of fact. We've got Purim, Hanukkah, and Passover, which was the story that actually kicked it off. Aaron and I initially started collaborating on a story called Crime and Passover, which appeared in the Scott Snyder Presents the Cloakroom anthology. And so that was kind of what led to us wanting to tell more stories with this family.
Okay, so first things first, I'm going to put the link in the chat.
Awesome.
Hopefully that link works.
I personally tested the link, so I hope so.
Foolproof.
I clicked it, so it worked for me.
Foolproof because it was made by fools.
Yes, the fool tried it, and it proved me wrong. No.
So second thing I want to do is click notify me on launch. It says you'll be the first to receive project launch emails. And I
Look at that number, Grant. You're 111. That's pretty cool. 111. What?
Yeah, that's cool. It's not as cool as being follower number 69, but it's still pretty cool, right?
We sat there for a little while. Had a good chuckle.
We did. We are puerile, if nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, we're comic book creators. We shouldn't take this too seriously, right?
No, absolutely.
And this is a comedy, so we should stay in our lane with our book currently out.
Yeah, our emphasis is definitely on the humor if it's not readily apparent just by looking at some of the images.
Right. So a point that I did want to make is by clicking the notify me on launch button, that doesn't cost you anything. So anybody who's listening or watching, I encourage you guys all to click the notify me on launch.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you, those who click.
And
so what? Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, when you do, you'll get notified immediately upon launch. So you'll be the first one to know.
And we got some cool early bird discounts, stuff like that. So
we do.
So what can you tell me about Sticks and Stones?
So Sticks and Stones, a little bit just to build on what Alex said. Originally I wrote Sticks and Stones for as part of a holiday anthology. And a holiday anthology, as you know, has a lot of different holidays. a lot of times it's Christmas and Easter and a lot of different, Halloween or Valentine's Day. And I wanted to do a Passover story. So I created this family that's sort of an amalgam and a love letter to my growing up and people I knew and all that, and made it a mystery because I thought these family holidays are great settings for mysteries. Everyone's eating around a long table with 10 people, and there's a long period of time with nothing happening, right? That's something should go down. Agatha Christie style, right? So
Right.
so I wrote this 8-page short for that anthology, and Alex and I collaborated on that. And then we really just fell in love with this family that was really representative of our heritage, who we are, where we grew up, how we grew up, and just also universal of other families at holidays with their crazy relatives and wanting to fit in and wanting to belong. So I thought, let's make this bigger. So we want to do it as a full series. This is the first issue. Um, I thought it'd be really entertaining to do the first issue as a holiday special because we all grew up watching animated holiday specials and just loving them, right?
Right.
Um, so I was like, well, there's not a lot of all Jewish holiday specials. Let's
Right.
do it. So this is that same family over 3 holidays and sort of the mysteries that this one character Ben tries to solve over every holiday. And you get to meet this family in all of these kind of crazy situations.
So, do you guys have a favorite of the big holiday specials? Like, I mean, when I think of the holiday specials, the first thing that comes to mind is, of course, the Peanuts.
Sure.
Um,
The Great Pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
right. Obviously, the Grinch. Do you have one in particular that you really love?
Oh gosh, why don't you start, Alex? I got some, but you could go first.
I remember one thing that sticks out in my mind because Saturday morning cartoons, I was kind of like the right age for sort of the prime or Saturday morning cartoons, kind of at their peak, in the early '80s through mid '90s or so. So what I really remember from that always kind of gave me a charge was when they would do like blocks of episodes of the Saturday morning cartoons that were all holiday themed. So I remember them doing like scary Halloween ones and ones for the holidays, and those were so it wasn't necessarily one. I mean, I do like the Halloween ones because that's got to be one of my favorite holidays. But that's something that really sticks in my mind is when they would do sort of the themed episodes of the Saturday morning cartoons. But then there were like the Looney Tunes Thanksgiving ones as well that always that Looney Tunes and Chuck Jones and Bob Clampett and all of those are always influences that I go back to as well. So those are I think some of the ones that leap to mind immediately.
I remember the Garfield Halloween special
Yeah,
legitimately scared me. Like
yeah,
when the ghost pirates come in at the very end, and they're like hiding in that little cupboard, and I remember like, oh god, putting my head under the covers and just being so scared.
I remember legitimately being traumatized by the Punky Brewster one of those Halloween specials. It was like The Thing or something. It was utterly terrifying. So yeah, that was the time period where like people didn't really mind scaring kids as much as they do nowadays.
No, I mean the scariest animated movie that I saw at that time, not related to holidays, was Last Unicorn, which
Oh yeah,
scared the crud out of me as a kid with the waves and the things in the waves. I was like,
yeah,
come on. I was really beside myself on that one.
yeah.
Holiday wise, I mean, I'm a huge Peanuts fan. So the Halloween special and the Christmas special, um, I always watch those, um, the TV show ones, when the TV animated shows had holiday specials, like Alex was saying, Rugrats has a Hanukkah special.
And a Passover one, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so any of those I think is great because you get to kind of see the characters in those situations. But what I loved about those too is that they were universal. I love the Peanuts ones because just mostly the Christmas one when he goes, I got a rock. Like the I Got a Rock line is so much like how everyone feels, around the holidays sometimes, you know. Um, so yeah, I Got a Rock is infinitely quotable and kind of like the apex of what you try to reach as a creator.
Yeah, we're just chasing that moment with this book for
Yeah.
Jews.
Yeah. So this is kind of supposed to be, uh, I guess, like for lack of a better term, like the Jewish equivalent of that, right?
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
Yeah.
we do, really, strive to emphasize sort of the things that universally tie us all together in those situations. So we're, the Judaism is definitely a part of it, an important part of it, to some degree. But we also want to emphasize that it's sort of the cultural aspects of it, and we're kind of trying to again accentuate the relatability of it in those situations with big families and the feeling like you're what it's like to feel like a kid in an adults only world sometimes. And so a lot of that is what we're playing up as well, because we want
Yeah, it's situational. If you have the same feelings in any situation, no matter what holiday it is, or what day it is, or what school you're in, you could be in any school and have the same situation as any school, right?
yeah
So, it's
Yeah.
similar to holidays. Who's the youngest, who's the oldest, who's this cousin, who's that cousin, right? This crazy
Yeah.
aunt's visiting.
I can definitely relate to being bored out of my mind at a
Mhm.
family dinner with people talking about friends and neighbors of theirs who died before you were even born. You know, yeah,
And
I
there's
can.
some of those people that you only see at holidays, right? Like you never see them at any other point in your
Yeah,
life. And they just show up, once a year, twice a year.
and sometimes not at all.
Sometimes once a year is too much, right?
Well, yeah, it certainly can be with some people. Oh, yeah, but we have a joke. There's a cousin in there that Aaron came up with, who's it's a cousin named Ronnie, and she's always asking everybody if they remember her, because just for that reason. So these are really really reflections of and again, like everyone was saying, sort of an amalgam of our families and our experiences. And there seems to be a lot of similarities in Jewish families, I think, and immigrant families too. So the experiences are, yeah, he's
Yeah, it's a lot about gathering around a table,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
With multi generations and having a meal and sharing stories, and some people wanting to be there and some people not.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you have a lot of art on here. Is
Mhm.
the entire comic book finished, or are you guys still working on that?
We are a
Uh,
third of the way through.
so yeah, some of it's still in progress, and one of the rewards is being having cameos in one of the stories. So that'll be part of it too, which is very cool. But yeah, we wanted to put as much art, a good amount of art on the page so people had a feel for what we're doing.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think a third of the book is about a good way to go, right? Um, it, it's at least a good starting point, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it definitely gives us a leg up from where we are, and a lot of that, a lot of the other two thirds are well on their way to getting produced. So we feel like we're in a pretty good spot to be launching this week.
yeah. They're all different stages. Some are done. Some are in different stages of things. The covers
Yeah.
are done, which you can see here. You see Alex's main cover, and this is the that's Ralph Singh's variant cover. So that's Alex's main cover.
So it says that here that there are three covers. Are you still waiting for the third one?
We are. So we have one coming from Mike Kunkel, of Hero Bear and the Kid, and Billy Bastion and the Magic of Shazam. So we were very fortunate to get him on board to do a variant for us, and that will be revealed at some point in the campaign. We're kind of
So
waiting for
yeah,
this.
you'll see there. That's Mike Uncle's mystery variant C cover. So
Yeah.
that'll be revealed as the campaign goes on. But it's going to be a great cover, and Mike's awesome for working with us on putting the cover together.
A mystery cover for a mystery book.
Yeah, sounds awesome.
Yeah, we're excited about it. This has been a project that we've been talking about, well, like probably, for close to the 2 years that we've been working together. I think it's something that
Yeah.
we've always kind of floated. So we're really excited to finally get this out there.
And
So
this
now
is
I
our
feel
this is
like-
our third project together. So
Awesome. So now I feel like with a project like this, you've got to have characters who are based on real family members. Now, is there anybody where it's going to be obvious where it might cause like friction in your real life families?
that's a good question. I don't write, I'm not writing frictiony takes on the characters because I love the family aspect of things. So I think it's anything that's frictiony is endearingly frictiony, right? Anything that's like, oh, that's a quirk. It's a quirk that you're like, oh, that could be annoying or it could be endearing. But yeah, they're definitely characters, I think, based on both Alex and my family, and then some an amalgam from other things we've seen and other people we've met while going through our lives. So the fun part for me is having family members guess who's based on who. So I'll get on this character, right? Or, is this based on this person? I get that a fair amount. And
Yeah.
the truth is always that it's an amalgam of multiple things.
Yeah. And
But-
then appearance wise and stuff too is so we're pretty good about putting a smoke screen up for whoever the real the real life counterparts might be. But that does create a very lived in feel for this world where you feel like you do know the characters because they are to some degree based on in reality. So it's yeah, I know, buddy. That's how we do it. But
In reality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what the one thing that's 100% true is that my grandmother used to tell an abundance of dirty jokes at the table every holiday. It was just a lot of dirty jokes. So I definitely worked that in with the grandma who's just off color and tells inappropriate things at the table that you wouldn't expect a grandmother to do. But even though you wouldn't expect a grandmother to do it, mine did.
Now, did you
And
find
I'm sure somebody else's does too.
now did you find that entertaining or did you find it awkward?
At the time, I was
Yeah,
a,
at the
I
time.
was a kid at a family dinner. Anything inappropriate was welcome. Yeah.
everything
still
was enjoyed.
I still remember a few of the jokes, and a few of the jokes that I do remember are would no longer be tolerated. But
Oh, so they were not just dirty. Some of them were maybe a little offensive.
no, some of them were like they were dirty, but they were like not things that I would really repeat in public with people I don't know. She would just do it in front of her family.
More
Yeah.
vulgar,
Not
than,
offensive,
like,
just really vulgar.
Yeah, sort of obscene
Yeah.
more than anything else.
Awesome.
There were
So,
some bodily fluid jokes that I really thought were great. They're always classic. I mean, those never go out of style.
Super appropriate for your young relatives. Hi.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming up on about an hour. So do you guys have anything else you want to promote, like maybe social media, maybe a newsletter, anything like that?
I have a newsletter, which
Al's got a newsletter.
yeah, on my social media. I have link trees up in my bios where you can find the link to the newsletter. It's completely free. I try to do it quarterly, which I've been better at this year since this guy came around. Last year was a little bit rough to keep up with things, but this year, yeah, it'll be quarterly with some special announcements as well. So I have that, which you can sign up through my website as well, alexschumacherart.com, and I'm on the socials at AJ Schumacher Art.
And you can find me on all the socials. I'm on IG at Aaron Cohen Writes, and I'm on Blue Sky at the A Cohen and a couple other of the socials as well. You can find me there. And yeah, and then you can find us on Kickstarter and follow
Kickstarter.
along. And we're launching this week, and we're excited to see where it goes, and hopefully bring some humor and bring some joy to people.
Yeah.
Sounds great. So unless anybody else in the chat has any questions for you, I think we're going to call it a night. We're going to be back this time next week with new guests. I still don't have guests yet, but I'm sure I'll find somebody between now and next week. Thank you, Aaron and Alex. And I'm sorry, I don't know the other person. Is that your son or daughter?
This is my son, Elliot. Yeah. Which is very long hair. But thank you for having us on. It was a pleasure. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah, thanks so much, Grant. We really do.
Of course. Hopefully you guys get funded very quickly, which I'm sure you will because it looks awesome.
Thank you so
And
much.
Dan is saying nice show, and so is Don. So with that, I think we're going to
Awesome.
wrap it up. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.